Mr. Secretary, thank you for the time. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, good to be with you. We are presently in Vienna at the International Atomic Energy meeting, an interesting time to be in front of the International Atomic Energy folks talking about the bad actor in that world happens to be Iran as well. So we're not only giving some clear messages to the global community about the bad activities that Iran have been involved with in non-proliferation of our nuclear materials. Setting on top of that, obviously the attack on the Saudi Arabia oil supplies. So you've got a country in the Middle East that's causing great havoc, and the message is clear. And I hope every country in the world joins us in sending that we are not going to accept their malign activities, and that the people that are really getting hurt out of this are countries that are major oil importers, Japan, China. Both of those countries really will pay the huge price for a big spike in oil and gas prices. With that said, I think the message is clear. We've got big supplies of oil around the world. The United States is sitting on 645 million barrels in our SPRO. Saudi Arabia has 188 million barrels of oil, and I think 97 million barrels of oil products. So, and worldwide, the International Energy Agency member countries have emergency reserves of, I think, $1.55 billion. So there's a lot of oil out there in reserve. But with that said, we need to send a clear message that this type of activity and the obvious spike that occur in the market is the result of Iranian activity, and the real clear message the President sending to Iran about their malign activities.
Mr. Secretary, for our audience who's interested in the status of the facilities, what intel do you have on what was affected and how long it will take to restore?
Yeah, I'll leave that to my counterpart, Saudi Arabia, who I talked at length 24, 30 hours ago. Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman and I have a long-time relationship, and he would be the better source of information about what they saw as far as direct damage and how quickly they'll have that facility back up and operating.
Secretary Perry, you mentioned the SPR and other strategic reserves around the world. Are those already being tapped on to make up for the loss in production right now? And if they're not, at what price would that happen?
Yeah, I think the president was spot on when he said that the SPRO would be available if needed. I think we are yet a little premature in making any comments on, or any actions actually, about whether or not the SPRO is actually going to be needed. Until we get a real handle on the length of time that this facility is going to be down. I think the Saudis are already saying that they're going to be able to get a third of this production back before the close of business today. So, there's going to be a spike in this, but again, I want to be really clear that the market out there has a fairly substantial amount of oil available. Does this disrupt it? Without a doubt. Does this put people on notice that you got some bad actors in the world and you need to be addressing the security side of the issue? But the president made a really good point that I want to hone in on today. And he talked about this ought to be a wake-up call all across this country, particularly around the world, but particularly in America, the number one oil and gas producing country in the world. We need to build out our infrastructure to ensure America's record amount of oil supply gets to the global marketplace. We got challenges over in the northeastern part of the United States being able to move product across New York State because their governor and their legislature think that that's good politics. Well, it may be good politics internally in New York, but it's bad national security. it's bad security for our allies around the world if we can't get the product. So not only is this a time for us to be globally sending a message that Iran cannot be allowed to act in the way that they are acting, whether it's with the non-proliferation issue, dealing with nuclear weapons, or they're attacking oil supplies to try to disrupt the global economy.